Hi, I'm Demos. As promised, I'm back with a follow-up discussion. Today, just concentrating on the first lens, which is a Samyang 12mm f2. This is going to be part 1 of 8 for the time being. Could go up higher, depending on if I buy any more lenses. So go and get yourself a nice cup of tea. I've got mine ready here, and I'll catch you back in 2 minutes. So, what's good about this lens? First of all, I just want to state that everything that I do is just my own personal opinion. I'm not a reviewer. I certainly don't get paid by anyone to do this. This is just my own opinion. Anything I tell you is just literally my personal experiences and what I get from the stuff that I talk about. If you want, reviews and stuff like that, then search for reviews. But this is my own personal experience. Talk about this particular lens in the most honest way that I can give you. Basically, I'll give you some positives. I'll give you some negatives. I'll let you know if it's worth buying this lens. For me, I think this is a great lens. It's well constructed, it's metal and it's plastic. The top part there, you can hear it, is plastic. Bottom half and of the barrel here is kind of like a really hard plastic. So it's a mixture between both. Focusing is smooth, quite stiff, but it is smooth. The aperture ring, you can hear that clicking away there, and it goes from f22 and opens right out to f2. The best thing about this lens, as I explained in my last video, was how easy I think it is to focus. And the reason was because anything from, so I don't see that there, once it hits that infinity sign there, is meant to be infinity. However, I've tested this and infinity is actually there on that little line which starts right there. Apparently there's a reason why it goes beyond infinity, and that's just depending, from what I've heard, every lens can be a little bit different when it's constructed, so it's got to have a little bit of leeway because your lens might not actually be there, it might be there, for instance. So that's what I've heard. I could be completely wrong. I don't know. Like I say, I'm not a lens manufacturer, but I'm just giving you my personal experiences. So if you were to, for instance, to have it at, so my one infinity, as I explained, is set to that little line. So I could have it set to that little line there. I could literally put my aperture into f4, or as I prefer to shoot, around f8. And then what I can do, I can pop this on my camera. One thing actually which is a little bit awkward is it doesn't have the marking on the lens to line it up to your camera. It's actually in the inside there, a little red dot. So you kind of have to, I find that really annoying. So you have to look at the lens and, oh, okay, so it kind of goes on like that. But it is annoying because sometimes, you're faffing about trying to get it on. The lens hood clips in place, but it is really plasticky. You can feel the plasticness there. But again, it's not the most expensive lens in the world, so it does the job. I think the worst attribute is this lens cap. It's one of those pinchy lens caps, and it hasn't got much room when you get your fingers in there. So it kind of ends up sometimes, you know, popping out your hands. You try and get it on your camera, on the lens, sorry. And when you put it on the lens, it doesn't always click in place, and you know, it kind of can unclip and, you know, bounce out, as demonstrated. Another positive that I think this lens is, and it's good for, so it's an f2 lens, and you can actually get background blur from this lens. You can actually shoot pretty close up. You can, I don't know the exact figures or the exact, you know, distance that it does allow you to it, but it's roughly about a foot. So from about a foot onwards, you can get close into your subjects, be it if it's like, you know, if you're doing, like, for instance, an event and you want to get close up to, you know, a wine glass or rings or something like that, and you can actually get some nice bokeh from it. So I think that is really, really cool, being an f2 lens. Also, being an f2 lens, you can shoot in a room that isn't too well lit, and you get some really nice images from it. The drawbacks of this lens is, so I explained it's sharp in the centre, and in the centre it is sharp. However, corner to corner sharpness isn't great at f2. If you open it up to about 5.6 or 8, it is good, and you'll see a difference. This is the weirdest thing that seems to happen just on this particular lens. So I always use UV filters. Well, it's probably not weird actually, it's just, it's the artistic style that I go for, and it causes this artifact to happen, or artifacts to happen. So on the front of the lens, you've got all the writing, yeah, so it says, you know, Samyang 12mm, NCS, CS, and it's got all these weird X's, and you can see that there, and all this writing around it. So when you've got a UV filter, and for instance you want to get starbursts because you're doing a landscape shot, for instance, the light bounces, you know, inside the actual lens, and it causes the actual writing on the inside of the lens to kind of bounce back onto the sensor. So it basically projects this writing onto your image, which is not a good thing. There are ways around it. Basically, don't shoot right into the sun and just tilt the lens, you know, a couple of degrees in the other direction. But that is really annoying, because I like to do starbursts, and I do this artistic thing where I like to get like a really nice, you know, like a round halo effect in my images. So it's not the best for that, but in an artistic way, if you can get it not to project the writing onto the sensor, it's actually quite nice. It just takes a bit of practice, and like I say, it's not a hard lens to use. As long as you've got it set to your more or less infinity, and you're using either focus peaking or just using your eye in the zoom function of your camera to check focus, it's a very, very easy lens to use. Just, I think another negative thing is, obviously the lens doesn't have any contacts on it, okay? So when that's on your camera, the camera's not reading anything from this lens, so you don't actually know any kind of EXIF data other than your shutter speed. It won't tell you your aperture, it won't tell you the... In fact, what does it tell you? It actually doesn't tell you anything other than your shutter speed and your ISO, because your ISO is set from your camera. But it doesn't tell you the details of the lens, it doesn't tell you what focal length. So you kind of have to manually set your camera to you know, a profile, say in 12mm, just so you know that it's that lens. So I'm pretty certain Fuji's own wide angle 10 to 24 is going to be a better lens than this in respects to sharpness, from corner to corner, and autofocus if you need an autofocus lens. But in terms of price, you can pick up 3 of these for one of those. I probably will end up getting the 10-24. It's definitely on my wish list, but at this moment in time, it's not a necessity for me, so that's why I'm just dealing with this particular lens. So I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else I can really tell you about the lens. Is it worth buying? For me, personally, yes, definitely. I think you can really gain an artistic experience from this lens rather than having to always autofocus, and when you don't have a zoom and you use the prime, you kind of have to, in your head, try and picture the scene, and if it's not right, you physically have to move back or move forward to get the framing right, and I think that just can help your artistic flair. Again, that's my opinion. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I believe this lens has helped me with my photography, and certainly has helped me with my artistic style. If you fancy a good lens, try it, maybe rent it. I would say it's definitely worth a buy, but if you do buy it and you hate it, don't blame me. I don't think you will. That's it. I'm going to leave you with some images now that I've shot with this lens. You'll see some wedding images and you'll see some personal work. I hope you enjoy them. I'll catch you real soon. Cheers. Bye.